Hey, hi everyone, it's Yasa here from Being Human.
And Araenia. Hello.
So what are we going to talk about today?
I think we're going to talk about the miracles and magic that seems to happen when you're living a soul-guided life. Yasa had a really exciting thing happen to him yesterday, so we're going to hand over to him and he'll tell you all about it.
Well, I enjoy my element of water and I really enjoy fishing. So last night, just on dusk, I said to Araenia, I'm going to pop out and throw a line on the water, see if I can catch some brekkie. So I toddled, it's just down the road, probably 7 minutes drive from here. And I'll show you. There's the harbour there. That's what's behind. That's where we're sitting looking. So anyway, I'm sitting down at low tide because all the fish go into the canals, channels and holes. Going to catch brekkie, and lo and behold, I hear this breath. I thought, far out, that's an interesting breath. That's an interesting sound, because the last thing I thought I'd hear was that, and then just down to the left of me I saw this massive black dorsal fin come out of the air and the water. Good point.
Be interesting if it came out of the air.
I'd be diving for cover in case it...
Some kind of dragon thing.
And anyway, so I'm sitting there watching these massive orcas go past where I'm fishing, and they weren't very far away, probably 15, 20, 10 metres off the bank. Like, I felt quite safe up on the bank, but I'll tell you what, these things are intimidating, and they were massive. And I've fished here many years. I've never seen orca in here. Like, I've heard of them being in here, and I've seen pictures of them in the newspaper, but actually to see them and up close, because first of all 2 came up, and medium size, but that's still massive, and then behind those 2 came a really big one, which I presume is the male, and there was a small one right next, just coming along the bank. And I actually perceived that as a miracle, because that was one hell of a profound experience.
It's like, just the fact that we're even here at the moment is, it was one of those, oops, getting a little sun, it was one of those pop-ups, soul pop-up. It happened very, very quickly. We've been looking for quite some time to find a different place to live for a bit. And this came up, and within just about 10 days, we heard about it and we were moved. And so whenever something happens that quickly, it's what we call a soul pop-up. And when it's soul-guided, it means that it's on the right path for you. So both of us have been having all kinds of manifestations while we've been here. But yeah, for Yasa, encountering those orcas last night was just a little piece of magic, I think. And that's what happens when the soul's in control of your destiny.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about that, and Araenia said, could you pop down and get perhaps a scoop of chips? We can have them for lunch. Oh, okay. And just as I was walking out the door, intuition came in and says, the more you become the miracle, the more miracles you will manifest in your reality. And I thought, wow, that's quite a profound statement.
I guess you become the miracle by following that soul guidance, because the miracle is ourselves and our own life and living in that true authenticity of ourselves.
Yeah, and see, I had no idea I was going to sit down on a bucket and encounter orcas. Like, it's nowhere in my mind. I was hoping to encounter a fish big enough to eat, but other than that. Anyway, I went down to get these these chips, and the normal shop was shut, so I went to another one, and for those who know it, it's the Ohiwa Oyster Farm. So I went there and I thought, Araenia likes a hot dog from time to time, I think I'll get her a hot dog. So I asked for a scoop of crispy chips, because they've got to be crispy, and a hot dog and sauce, please. Well, and I go and they call out my number, so I go up there, thank you, and I drove back. And I opened it, and I gave the packet to Araenia and said, here you go. Hoping to have a nice little surprise of hot dog in there. She had no idea that I was getting. Anyway, she opened them up and she said, what are these? I said, what do you mean, what are these? I was thinking in my head, bloody hot dog, how do they look? Anyway, I looked in the container with chips, and there was no hot dog, but there were a half a dozen battered oysters.
So Yasa's manifesting miracles for himself, I'll have you know here. His little surprise for me gets left and lost and whatever, but he's, a little bit of magic and miracles for him.
So I sat down, and Araenia is
intolerant of shellfish.
Yeah, intolerant's a good word. So I sat down and had half a dozen battered oysters, and they were just so good. But the point is, that's another miracle.
Totally unexpected pop up.
And I think it's really important for us as human beings to acknowledge these things.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, some dopey so-and-so's got the wrong order, just go, wow, there was no transgression. I never tried to manipulate this. I drove back 5 minutes back to the home, and next minute, boom, oysters. So it's like, accept it, mate. Accept it as a... What are you going on? What was that about?
Oh, it was just like a splinter or something in my finger. It was on the back of that chair. I just feel a little bit sorry for the person who's gone home thinking they're going to get oysters and they've got a hot dog instead.
Well, perhaps the one who believes in miracles gets the miracle.
I don't know what it is.
Because I never transgressed once. I just sat there quietly. They called out 43. I said, oi, that's me. And walked away with me number 43. And it's deeper than just thinking miracle. I think you have to know there are miracles and magic. If you've ever read one of my texts, I'm the first one to put magic in there. I love it.
It's a way of signing off.
Yep. So I think, okay, you clear your stuff, you put the flame inside your subconscious mind. That is a bloody miracle in itself.
Yeah.
So, and that creates stuff way out of our subconscious and conscious mind realm.
I think something else that we encounter, quite frequently, people who are too busy, too stuck to their story, or their third dimensional manifestations, and a pop-up like that turns up and it will be, I'm too busy, or I haven't got the money, or it's not the right timing, or whatever it is. Instead of, those pop-ups come in divine timing, and it's not, and usually is not when we want it to happen, or in the way that we think we want it to happen, or anything like that. So it's more than just being aware of this happening. It's actually taking those steps and being prepared to kind of put yourself on the line. Yeah, take that step and say, well, thank you, and then work out how you're going to make it happen. But when that pop-up turns up, it's a really good indicator that you're on your soul pathway, and all we have to do is say thank you and walk it.
The intellect can get really involved here. Something happens, fantastic. Oh, it's only because of such and such. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, perhaps it got, it's a mistake, whatever. And that's a way of denying what you've just manifested.
Well, we met with a friend just over the last few days, had done a number of courses with us, had done a number of clearings with us, and the last time we spoke to them, they were at the point of making some really critical changes in their life, which they went ahead and did. And goodness me, explaining to us yesterday how everything had opened up in the most amazing, or amazing's not a great word because that sounds like it's confusing because it's like a maze, but the most astounding perfection. And just by having to, follow that soul guidance, close the door that needed to be closed, and what opened up was just phenomenal. Personal level, work level, just wonderful. Couldn't
Yeah.
be happier for them. But
Oh,
yeah,
magic.
following that soul pathway and just spectacular.
So,
Yep.
that's pretty
We're going
good.
to go for a bit more of a walk and just say hey and hi to Sharon and Reagan. Thanks for joining us today, and everybody else that's been
Is that
popping
Reagan or Regan? So,
Oh, it
is
could,
that how
well,
you
I'm
say
not
Regan?
sure. It could be Reagan or Regan, depending on how they pronounce it. Sorry about that. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you again another time when we're out walking and talking.
Yeah, okay. Trendsetters, have a goodie.
Yep.
And get into those miracles and live a bit of magic.
Yeah, all right. Bye, everybody.
Cheers.